Hello friends, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Today in the kitchen there is a recipe that truly appeals both to the eye and the palate. A classic that makes you love it every time you make it again. Meatballs with Eggplant Beğendi. It is one of the most beloved and most deeply rooted flavors of Turkish cuisine. Today I want to show you this in the most practical and most understandable way. It will be a narration that will give you a clear idea in about 8 minutes, so don't forget to watch until the end. Right now, in the tray you see, there are approximately 2 kilograms of meatballs. I had prepared these meatballs beforehand and put them in the freezer. So this recipe is also very suitable for those who like to do prep in advance. Let me briefly talk about the ingredients of the meatballs. I used lamb because it is the meat that suits this dish the best. Its flavor really makes a difference. Inside there are onions, breadcrumbs, a few eggs, salt, and spices. As spices, I usually use garlic powder, black pepper, and cumin. If you like, you can also add finely chopped parsley. It suits it very well. After taking the meatballs out of the freezer, I do not wait for them to fully thaw. This is an important detail. It is enough for them to soften slightly because being a bit firm gives us an advantage while slicing. This way we can cut more even and more uniform pieces. Now I'm slicing the meatballs. Let me say from the beginning, this recipe is for about 15 people. First, I divide the large piece into 4, then I divide each piece again to get small and equal portions in total. So in the kitchen, there is not only flavor but also a bit of calculation. You know how people say, where will we ever use math? Well, this is exactly where it comes in handy. After cutting all the meatballs, I flip the cutting board upside down and transfer them to the tray. This method is both practical and allows you to move them without ruining their shape. Now I am arranging the meatballs on the baking tray. There is a small tip here. I leave a little space between them so they don't stick to each other. This way they cook evenly and brown nicely. It is important that they don't overlap, otherwise they will steam and we won't get that roasted flavor we want. Our meatballs are now ready to go into the oven. I will cook them in a preheated oven for about 15 minutes. Meanwhile, one of the most beautiful aromas of the kitchen will slowly start to spread. While the meatballs are cooking in the oven, I move on to preparing the star of the dish, the Eggplant Beğendi sauce. Because what makes this dish special is not only the meatballs, but also that silky, smoky eggplant underneath. Now let's start preparing it. For the Beğendi sauce, I take about 200 grams of butter and 200 grams of sunflower oil into a steel pot. After the oils melt, I add exactly 1 cup of white wheat flour on top. Now I start mixing the flour. The important point here is this: the raw smell of the flour must completely disappear. So the oil, flour, and butter will be roasted well together. Since there is butter in it, as you can see, it starts to foam, which shows that we are on the right track. After the flour is roasted, I add 1 spoon of sugar and 1 spoon of salt. The sugar here is not to make it sweet, but to balance the aroma of the eggplant, a small but important detail. Now I carefully add 1 liter of boiling water and quickly stir it. The steam at this stage will be quite intense, so be careful not to burn your hand. To adjust the consistency, I add a little more water. I added about half a liter more. If you wish, you can use milk instead of water at this stage. This makes the beğendi creamier. I did not add milk because there is already butter in it, and I will add kaşar cheese shortly. Now I add about 400 grams of grated kaşar cheese. As the cheese melts, the sauce becomes thicker and more fluid. Next are the eggplants. Since we are in the winter season, I used ready roasted eggplants. I bought 3 packs of roasted, garlic-flavored eggplants sold in the market and add them directly to the pot. It is a practical method and also quite successful in terms of flavor. If you say you will make it with fresh eggplants, you need to roast about 15 eggplants and peel them. You can think of it as 1 eggplant per person. Now I mix everything well. As you can see, the kaşar cheese stretches inside. That elastic texture is actually the flavor itself. If you don't like this look, you can use a less salty white cheese. You can even add labna, but it is better to avoid very salty cheeses. It will disturb the balance of the dish. Now I spread the beğendi mixture I prepared onto the tray. By the way, if you like the recipe, don't forget to like the video Your support is really important for the continuation of such traditional and practical recipes. If you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, you won't miss new recipes. Now let's continue from where we left off. I took the meatballs out of the oven. I removed the excess fat accumulated on them into a separate container and discard it. This way, our dish becomes lighter. Now I will prepare an extra sauce for the meatballs. It will be a thick sauce, like a barbecue sauce consistency. For this, I use bone broth and starch. First, I dissolve the starch with cold water, then I boil it. As it boils, it thickens and gains consistency. This sauce sticks to the meatballs, preventing them from drying out and trapping the flavor inside. To remove the excess fat and residue formed on the meatballs, I pour some boiling water over them and do a quick rinse. This method makes the meatballs cleaner and lighter. You can see the consistency of the sauce. It is exactly like baby food, thick and smooth. Now I pour this sauce over the meatballs and gently mix, making sure it coats them evenly. Now, I take the Begendi tray onto the counter and plan how we will place the meatballs. Instead of placing them randomly, it is better to determine the portions in advance. For this, I make light marks with a knife so everyone's portion will be equal. After determining the portions, I place about 11 pieces of meatballs into each section and add a little sauce on top. By the way, if you like the recipe, don't forget to like the video. Your support is really important for the continuation of such traditional and practical recipes. If you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, you won't miss new recipes. Now let's continue from where we left off. Our dish is now ready. It is truly both filling and very elegant in presentation. Yogurt or ayran goes very well on the side. You can also sprinkle a little thyme and finely chopped parsley on top. If you use 2 spatulas while serving, you can transfer the portions to the plate without ruining them. I also prepared tarhana soup alongside this dish, and by adding it, we created a nice menu. Bon appetit in advance to everyone who will try it. See you in the next recipe video. Goodbye.